Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I decided to do something a little bit different this time. I invited my bro on, and so I wanted to do this video that I don't see a lot of people really talk about, as in just in the platform of YouTube and sharing your experiences, especially two black men from different backgrounds. So today we're going to talk about why we chose to attend an HBCU.
Ground.
So let's first start talking about our background. So he has a totally different background. I have a totally different background. I grew up in a predominantly white town, school, everything. If it was three of us in a classroom, it was a celebration. I grew up in an area that had a lot of racial undertone and overtone, depends on what time and what area. So my background was a little bit different. In that sense, you want to kind of talk about your background?
Well, completely opposite. I grew up in a town where the world's majority was the minority in my school. If we had, I think through my high school career, high school life, however you want to look at it, I may have had maybe a total of 3 white classmates. So that shows you I grew up in a pretty much a quote unquote HBCU high school, to say the least.
Right.
If that makes sense.
So one of my main reasons, like before attending, main reasons was I wanted to be in the band. I was in band all my life, and I knew I was going to be in business. And I knew specifically I wanted to go to Grambling since the 9th grade because they had a great business school. That was one of the main reasons that I wanted to go at that time growing up. What about yourself?
A different world. A different world. I wanted to go to an HBCU not solely off of watching A Different World, but A Different World had a very, very strong hand in pushing me toward an HBCU education. Granted, I didn't have, like you yourself, I didn't have a plan to play in the band or what my major was going to be. I decided on what my major was going to be probably around the July when we had to do the freshman orientation. In that July, after I had got accepted and I'm doing the freshman orientation, that's when I decided what my major was going to be. Well, my first major. So yeah, I didn't have a plan towards like I'm going to be a Grambling alum business major in the band. I wasn't like that. I wanted to go to HBCU off of the image and the portrayal from A Different World. I wanted to be away from home, but not away from home.
Right.
So going to Grambling was in Louisiana. It's a 4-hour drive from where I'm from, so it's like a quick trip if I wanted to make it. And then I wanted to go against the grain. Majority of my family in where I grew up is southern all day. So I wanted to buck the system and go to Graham.
So when I was thinking about this video and just wanted to put this video out, hindsight is 2020. Graduated from Graham in 2012, and I realized there was a lot of or there was some deep, actual rooted things that was also driving me to go to an HBCU. And now more people are talking about it because of the climate that we're in, the racial climate that we're in. One of the biggest things that drove me to go to an HBCU because of the quote unquote negative stigma of the quality of education and what you can do or how far you can go with an HBCU degree. So I was always told, hey, why would you go to Grambling? You can go to LSU. Your degree will go much further, or you'll have a better education. And I'm the type of person, I like to prove people wrong. So just for that fact and understanding why HBCUs were built on, I wanted to prove that, which I have and I've done, and I'm continually excelling, and have all kinds of colleagues and friends that have graduated from an HBCU and are like blowing standards. You got anything on that?
Even when it comes to the quality of education, when the portrayal of the quality of education when it comes to HBCUs, schools, PWIs and schools such as LSU and Tulane and all these wordy educational institutions, yeah, they do have a standard. They do have a reputation of putting out successful people. But the education you get from Grambling or not just Grambling, sorry. The education you get from an HBCU is more intimate. The classes are not as big. You actually know your professors. You see your professors in Walmart. You get to see them as humans. They're just not a person that comes in, teaches you for 45 minutes to an hour and then leaves. My professors that I had some quality professors at Graham that actually got to know me on a different level. They actually, when they saw me slacking in class, they became aunts and uncles to me. I don't think you can get that at a different institution. I feel that because HBCUs are not as big, the classrooms are smaller, so the education is more intimate. Deeming, maybe the wrong word, but making the education more quality because you have that more intimate feel and with your professors and getting to know them, and they actually teaching you and not just teaching the product.
Right.
It's not a production. It's an actual, I'm teaching this student the way this student needs to be taught. I'm teaching this student the way this student needs to be taught, because everyone can't learn the same. And for me, that's the kind of education I got from the HBCU.
Man, there are a few instructors to this day that I still have their number. And I can call them. They'll know exactly who I am. Mm-hmm. And I can run and ask questions. That's one of the big things too, because like I've always heard, hey, you're going to know your professors, like you're going to know your instructors. And I learned a lot of life lessons, like in and out the classroom. They pushed me because they knew me. Mm-hmm. I had one instructor was like, hey, look, I'd rather you graduate in 6 years and be able to go against and be the best in any of your field than you graduate in 4 and you're barely skating by.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that shows that quality over quantity. And I know how, I'm not even gonna get into that with other universities getting more money because of their lower retention rate. But stuff like that spoke volumes to me. And even having that, being the climate that I came into or grew up in, I wanted that safe space. When I was at Grambling, at my HBCU, I didn't have to think about my skin color. No. I didn't have to worry about my skin color offending somebody or having to assimilate into some other culture. I was able to be there, enjoy myself, and focus on what I was there for.
You didn't have the code switch.
Right.
So
just that, just being comfortable with who I am, and just like saying, just being safe in that. And the other thing on top of that, that's a misconception, is diversity. There's plenty of diversity.
You get a lot of diversity. Like I can't remember, Robinson Hunter Rob. That building that dorm was Islanders, Caribbean people. So that's diversity. You get a different culture. You get a different feel for the world. Even for me, growing up in the South Louisiana, it was a diversity. You had diversity just moving up to North Louisiana. That's right. 2 different states.
Right.
You got North Louisiana, South Louisiana, 2 different states, and how people were raised and how the culture is for those people. East and West Coast, Texas, Louisiana, North and South. There's so much diversity within just within that small thing. So yeah, just because everyone is Black or African American that goes to HBCU, you still get the same diversity that you would get in any other institution in this world.
I learned so much just from styles and music, people from Cali, meeting people, Black people from Alaska, Alaska. And so like you said, in Hunter Rob, had plenty of friends from St. Lucia, from Jamaica. You got people from Africa. You got people from the Middle East that look just like you. Mm-hmm. And so just that diversity, that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. Now, don't get me wrong, and don't get us wrong. Of course, everybody want to go to an HBCU because it's lit.
Oh yeah, bro.
Look,
come on now.
Look, homecoming, the games, the parties, we had fun.
There's nothing like, and I'm not a big band person. I love music, but I was not in a band. I can't play an instrument to save my life.
World fame, baby.
But there is nothing like being at a game, around the first part of the game, and the band does their little walk-in, playing the little the instruments, whatever.
Yeah.
The introduction song, their walk-up song. They're playing their walk-up song. The dancing dolls are doing their little strut with their capes on. Man, it's nothing like hearing that. Dum, dum, hey, oh, dum, dum,
we don't do that.
Bro, we don't do that.
We don't do the AO.
They don't do that coming in.
We don't do the AO, but
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of bands do. I'm just saying. Look.
Yeah,
I was in the band on ground, but yeah. Look, but see, that's the thing. With like even like it being a family, because I can go, throw on my shirt, my grandma's shirt, and go down the street to Southern University and go to the game. Yeah, we gonna rag and tag, but it's still a family. It's still that environment. Like,
oh yeah.
I
got a guy on my ship that I work with. He's a Southern alumni, Gremlin alumni. We go at it all the time. The key thing he want to always say is, man, y'all didn't even have a library. We did have a library. But we go back and forth every time. But if somebody outside of that family wants to come in and say something, oh no, Pop.
No.
Oh no, Pop. You stay over there, LSU.
Right.
You had your chance.
Right.
You chose LSU. Let us HBCUs handle this.
Right.
You may have had your fried fish Fridays. You may have had those. But you ain't got what we got.
Right.
You ain't had the financial aid line. You ain't have it with one person's post on Facebook, because we didn't have Twitter or Instagram when it was really popping. But you had Facebook.
Right.
One person pop. Oh, that refund hit.
Oh.
Now everybody checking their bank account. Oh, when the refunds hit.
Oh yeah.
Because the calf was empty. You
know what I'm saying? Somebody in the account button and pulled up. Walmart is deep. People out here.
Walmart look like a club.
Man, look.
Walmart electronic department, when the refund checks hit, club.
But like I said, it's like we had a saying that we work hard during the week so we can play hard on the weekend. So don't get me wrong. We wanted to have our fun, and we did have our fun and that enjoyment. But like I said, it's the whole HBCU is a family. You meet from other HBCUs, it's still a family. After you graduate, and you meet other alum, not even alum from the same university, there's that type of respect and camaraderie and, that energy, but just look at the Bayou Classic. The Bayou Classic is a 3-day event that anybody from any age can enjoy. There's always something. It's basically a family event. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of your people that are currently in college and going, but it's just always something about that. And you want to have that it's something special about carrying that whoever you with, with Gremlin, carrying that G, and people always see like, man, y'all have such, pride and such, camaraderie behind your school. Like, you rep your school. Like,
most people who make it to graduation from an HBCU, that wasn't an easy feat. So with anything that you worked your hardest to do or hardest to make through, you give it the glory. You hold it near and dear to your heart. So the people that made it through, that were able to make it through 4 years, 5 years, however long it took you to graduate, who make it to walk that stage and get their degree from HBCU, that pride that they have to know, like, man, I struggled, I succeeded. That is something that they just hold. It's ingrained in you.
Right.
Like, can't nobody come to me and tell me anything bad about Grambling.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna allow that.
Right.
Because I know what I went through at Grambling.
Right.
Grambling went from the optics was real similar to how I grew up. Like I said, the world's majority was the minority in my community. So I moved to a HBCU where the views are still the same. But when I got to Grambling, I started finding myself. Not because I was I'm 18 now, I'm on my own. Yes, that had a part in it because I had to start fending for myself. I had to start actually saving my money and trying to, or attempting to save my money and wash my clothes and make sure I don't eat all my snacks in one day and stuff like that. But it was being on my own, understanding like, hey, this is not gonna make it. This is not gonna cut it. You have to do these things. You don't want to be a stereotype. You don't want to be one of the guys that, oh, you left, but guess where you at? You right back here at BP's chilling with us. Nah, you don't want to do that. So I had to buckle down. I had to sit there and sacrifice times where I wasn't able to go to that party, or I wasn't able to go out because I had to study, or at least I was trying to study. If I studied or not, I don't know, but I guess I did because I made it. So that is the point where I'm saying where it's like you get that feel from you remembering like, man, I was at my wit's end. I was at the bottom and I still succeeded because of the help from the people I met that were going through the similar things with me, like you, Dean, Gerald, all those guys that I met that I'm still cool with to this day. That I can still call up and be and run it with them, like run a conversation with them like we talked 2 weeks ago, but we haven't talked in like 6 months. Those guys, the teachers, the professors, and all those people that brought me into the Grambling family made sure, it may have been their own selfish reason to make sure that I didn't put a blemish on the school, but they brought you in and they kept you in. And so now, once you graduate, you realize you're like, man, I'm a part of a family. So you do that to the next person. I saw a guy the other day in the gym. Came in, he had a big G across his chest. Big G across his chest. He walked in the gym. Big G. You work that. You wear that G in Baton Rouge. You gotta walk with your chest high. Cause this ain't for the faint-hearted. You can't wear that G across your chest and be timid in Baton Rouge. Cause you gonna get ran on.
Right.
They gonna run you. So I saw him in the gym and I hit him with man, I like that shirt, bro. Like that shirt. And then I'm talking to him. I say, yeah, I graduated in 12. He was like, oh yeah, I graduated in 16 or 17. One of them times it made me feel old. It made me feel old because when I said, yeah, man, I was a freshman. I was in 600. He was like, yeah, I lived in Addicts or something like that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Addicts was not a building when I was there.
Right.
So yeah, and the same thing. The older guy saw my plate, my little plate cover on my truck. And did the same thing for me. He's like, hey man, you went to Grambling? I was like, yes sir. He was like, yeah, I graduated in 87. I was like, whoo, I graduated in 2012. And he was like, I'm glad you were able to say you graduated.
Right.
So it's just that worldwide community. When I was in the military, I'm overseas in Africa. I was rocking a Grambling shirt. This guy walks up to me. He's like, hey man, I like that shirt. And I was like, what? And it took me a while for it to register because I wasn't expecting that. He like, I like that shirt. And then he told me, he was like, hey man, I graduated in 90. I was like, whew, I was born in 90. Right. So yeah, it's just that it's worldwide, it's all known. It's when you see the G or when you see the bison horn, when you see the bison horns for Howard, you see the rattler from FAMU, whatever you see or whatever HBC you go to, after you leave and you successfully left with a degree, you have a different outlook on that school. You see someone that has that commonality with you, you like, what's up? Because you know the struggle. Even if it wasn't the same struggle, you know a struggle that they had a struggle to get where they was at.
Right.
So you just have that bond right there with them. It was, whew.
And I think that one of the biggest things for me, it just allowed me to learn that self-love of who I am. It helped me learn, that love of being Black, being proud about it, being unapologetic, understanding the sacrifices that our ancestors and the people before us made, appreciating what other people did, because HBCUs were created when, we weren't allowed to go on these PWI campuses and have an education. And so, that's why, I chose an HBCU. That's why
I chose an HBCU.
And so I just want to encourage anybody that's watching this that might want to go or just want to share their experience. Look, find the right one for you. And you'll be glad that you did. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you. And I'm going to ask you to comment down below your experience or why you chose an HBCU or why you're going to choose an HBCU. Share, hit the bell notification. And till the next time, I'm going to holler at you. Peace.
That was dope.
That's good, man.